Hey class, today we'll be talking about input and how input allows us to receive data while our program is running. Because we've been doing our programming in Trinket, I'll provide an example from Trinket as well. So let's get started. So as you can see, I've went ahead and created a Trinket for us, and in here we're just going to follow a very basic example and we'll be using input. So for this example, I'm going to create an application that asks an individual about information about themselves. So let's start with the first thing. Let's go with the person's name. So go ahead and create a variable called person's name, and that's where I'm going to store the name of the individual I'm talking to. I don't know what that name will be yet, and that's kind of the idea of how input comes into this, because it allows us to get that data in real time while our application is running. So again, person's name equals, and we'll use the function input. So input is really great because again, it allows us to get information from our users, and it also allows us to provide them with a prompt. What I'm going to do first is show you what happens if you run this without a prompt. So right now our application will receive something, and I'm also going to print it out because this will allow us to see what happens. So go ahead and run this application for you. And as you can see, I didn't put a prompt in, so when it's running, it just waits. I know a lot of you have seen this and have been kind of confused about why your application isn't working, when in reality it actually is. So what it's waiting for is input will then stop right at the line where input is at. If no prompt is given, it just waits. So if I put in the name Larry, you can see that the person's name is Larry because that was what was provided. But that's not very user-friendly because they don't know what they need. So what I'm going to do here is provide a prompt. We're going to say, please enter your name. Put a little colon and some space so it prints pretty. And let's go ahead and run this again. So now, when the application is running, we get this nice prompt. It says, please enter your name. Now again, we don't want to put the name inside the input area because that might be confusing. So what we do is we wait here, the application is running, and it says, hey, please enter your name. So this gives the user an opportunity to say, hey, my name is Larry, or, you know, let's change it. We'll do Jim. And so they enter Jim, and it says, hey, person's name is Jim. But this is just one. We need to get lots of information from the user, and this is also just a string. So let's get the person's age. Please enter your age. And let's get the person's favorite color. Please enter, your favorite color. All right, now let's go ahead and run it just as it is. Please enter your name, Jim. Jim. Age is 26. And favorite color is red. Not read, red. Oh, well, it only printed out my name is Jim. Oh, we forgot to print it out. We stored all the information, and it is here, but we're not using it. And that's again because we store the variable, but we never called that variable. So what we'll do here is we'll say print person's age is, and I've seen a few things on here where a lot of you have been using %s to display numbers. It's generally best practice to use %d if you're going to display an integer, and %f if you're going to do a float. So I'm going to go ahead and do %d here because in this case we don't necessarily care about the half of the person's age or the quarter or whatever that might be. And so we'll say person's age. And then I want to print out their favorite color, obviously. We'll use another string there. That's what that %s does. And person's favorite color. So now when I go ahead and run this again, we'll go with my name is Alicia, and my age is 28, and my favorite color is purple. And as you can see, it went ahead and printed that. I have been asked by a few students, how do I get extra space in between my different inputs and the things that I'm printing out? Oh, and we'll have to address the issue as well of this undefined, because I forgot about that. Trinket does have a bug where input, which should receive in integers and floats as those, as a number. So we need to come here and say int, wrap this around here. Say whatever I get back from input needs to be turned into an integer. You could also do this, person's age input. And we could come down here and say person's age equals int, person's age input. And this would also work. And this would allow us then to, let's get rid of that there. This would then say, get the data, store it, and then make another variable and turn it into an integer. So if we run this as it is right now, it will work. But we also wanted to address that question of how do I add some extra spacing or new lines. There are a few ways to do this. One of the easiest and one that you'll be more comfortable with is probably to do just that. You put a print, or you can put a print with an empty string in there, and that will print a new line without any information. The other way you can do this is by doing this. You could say there's a special character, you put in \n, and what that does is says, oh, I need to put a new line character, which is an actual character, in front of person's name. And now I know it looks weird here, but let's go ahead and just put a new line in front of all of these. And let's see what it looks like when we print it out. So let's run this. Please enter your name. We're going to go with Christopher today. His age is 16, and his favorite color is black. And so you'll notice that new line character went ahead and put an enter. It said, boop, one new line there, one new line there, and one new line here. New lines take up the entire width of whatever you're typing in. So it says put on the next line. You can also do some, again, if we wanted to do print, we could do this in between each one. Click, there we go. And if we wanted to do that without the new line character, it should behave just the same. Stephen is 34, and red is his favorite color. So interestingly enough, we forgot to put that in there. You have to have an empty string, or it doesn't print properly. So let's do it again. So Stephen, oh, don't want that. Stephen is 34, favorite color is red. And again, it works, puts out that new line, those new lines there. Hopefully this helps you to understand input and how you're supposed to use that. Again, you get the data while the program is running, and then that data can be printed out because it's stored in an input variable. And you can, again, name these anything that you want. So even if I were to just make this favorite color and change it down here as well, where we're printing it out, this would also work. So run it again, and we'll do Jim. He's 36, and indigo is his favorite color. And again, it prints out the way it should be. So hopefully this helps you understand again. Let me know if there's any way I can clarify it. But we'll be using input quite a bit throughout the rest of our applications. So again, if you have any questions, please reach out to me so that I can help you understand that. Thanks. Have a great day, class.